Yellow sands, blue seas, words can't express what you need to be. For the essence of your beauty cannot be contained nor expressed in the language that's been created to deny us. Cause the world knows who you are. Lotus flower, arise and take a shine. Allow the sisters of the divine take you on a journey to unlock the secrets and the mysteries hidden and locked inside of you. Here's your key to Nirvana, say I wanna go home. 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 I wanna go to the motherland. I know it's been a long time, but I wait now. I finally understand. I'm ready to get out of this winter wonderland. Go on a journey to my past, see how my ancestors will stand. Tall in one of the greatest civilizations. See the source of this world's modernizations. Allow the cosmic energy you once had baptize me. Again, allow your waters to wash away my negative perceptions. Picked up by every religious deception. Allow me to transcend new dimensions. Understand that this life is only a projection of what my soul needs so I can hit ascension. Get rid of every egotistical intention. But can you hear me calling you? I'm asking for direction. I need to go home. Help me find my way home. I want to go home. I want to go home. Help me find my way home. I want to go home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place. Really use my music. I need to create more. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. I'm going to go home. Yeah, 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 yeah. Come live by my way home. I'm going to go home. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So hello to everyone who's in this live at the moment. Oh, I didn't mean to turn it down so abruptly. But hello to everyone who's come in. Hello to everyone who's said hello and all that kind of stuff. Hello, hey, Kate. I can't even see properly. The light is like so bright in my face. Maybe I need to turn up the brightness on my phone. But hello to everyone who's coming in the live today. Now, I'm actually really excited, which sounds really weird in light of the craziness that we're experiencing worldwide. But I'm actually excited, and if you are also an intuitive like me, you're probably feeling excited that, or there's an element where it's like, okay, all of this stuff is happening on the outside, but on the inside, it's like, hold on, why do I need to be so fearful? Like, there's so much things that is happening in my individual reality, and not only just myself, many other people. There's certain things that are starting to bud now as we're coming into spring. The spring equinox is on the 21st of March, which heralds the beginning of spring. And right now, even as I go outside, I'm like, oh my gosh, sun is out, sun is coming to bless us. Like, summer's coming, opportunities are starting to present itself. Even for me, I'm starting to really come into some like amazing things. Like, I'm finally able to birth a lot of the things that I've been creating over the last decade. And opportunity, running into opportunities, people who can make that stuff happen, and it's just amazing. And I know this isn't only just a thing that is just happening with myself. There's certain people, or there's a lot of you that are also finding opportunities. There may be certain things that may not be going your way right now, obviously, because of this whole the coronavirus. I'm not even going to call its name. It's now called Lord Voldemort, the thing that shall not be named. Because I feel like we're just giving so much energy to it, and there's no need. Literally, I said earlier that the only reason why this is being blown up is because Jupiter is currently in Capricorn. Now, Jupiter is a planet of expansion. It's also the things that can sometimes blow things out of proportion, which also correlates to Pisces and Sagittarius, because Jupiter rules those two signs. So they can be a little bit wild in the way that they can just blow things out of proportion. And it's just like, what? Bro, you just created this, like, and you actually, like, you're so invested in believing that this thing exists from your perspective, but that's not actually how it's actually running. And I'm excited because, as I said to you when I did my Jupiter in Capricorn video, I said, yeah, this year is going to be a bit of a, I don't even know how to describe it, just like a bit of a year, but in the end, it's going to be great, and we're going to be seeing the opportunities that can be presented to us going forward, especially in the digital arena. Yes, this is a crash of our system, the way that we've known it, the way that we've always grown up to know it to be. That system is no longer. We're now moving into a completely different system, a completely different reality, a completely different world. And I've been saying this for months. If you go back to my Uranus retrograde video, I said to you guys, there's going to be some very interesting shifts. And I said to you that this year is a leap year. Whenever leap year, what is a leap? A leap is a shift, a quantum leap, right? But it's also, I also said that this year is going to feel a lot like 89, or the shift from 89 to 1990, or the shift that a lot of us would remember, if you're in my generation, the shift from 1999 to 2000. Now, it's interesting that even as we're going through this shift, we look at things like, who remembers the millennium bug? This was 1999 to 2000. And this was an imaginary thing that was created that made everyone go into panic and everyone think that the world was about to end. Apocalypse, end times, like, the craziest things was imagined, and society was just on a crazy like loop for a while until we realized, oh, there is no bug. Or was there? I feel like there's this last decade has been very, very instrumental in terms of psychological programming, in terms of psyops. We look at 2011 in particular. Was it 2011? 2001, sorry. 2001, where 9/11 was the last, and and I say the last because the one that we're in right now is probably the biggest psyop we're in right now. But that happened, and this birthed the whole thing of surveillance and privacy, this whole thing of fear and panic because of terrorism, and terrorism became the cover story for everything that was happening. But it's really, all you have to do is implant an idea, and that in itself does the damage, and it has already, because look how racism has just flown up towards Muslims and all this different type of people. Oh, you're a terrorist, this, that. It's been really, really wild. So the millennium bug, I see it as more of an initial plant for an initial plant. I will in a second. I will. It's initial plant for everything else that is going to manifest. But again, I feel like when we begin to take control of ourselves, and this is what Pluto in Capricorn is actually bringing up, is actually learning to have or being the master of your own soul, because Pluto represents the soul. Capricorn is all about mastery and self-mastery. And essentially, as the system is crashing, we're learning how to be sovereign of ourselves and sovereign of the way, especially as Saturn is now moving into Aquarius, being self-sufficient, right? A lot of people are being fearful right now because the reality is being exposed that we are not self-sufficient. We are reliant on the system. The system is what is allowing us to function. But now we need to recognize that we need to become more self-sufficient. We need to actually, now you realize how important it is to be growing your own garden. To be having your own potatoes and tomatoes and all that kind of stuff, so that if any supplies was to go, you still got your own garden that's still flowing. Right? Being able to have your own business. If companies go down, you need to be able to be in control of whatever happens in your own business so that you can maintain your own sufficiency. Things like homeschooling, and this is another thing that is can be quite controversial, because especially now that more people are becoming self-employed and moving into entrepreneurship, homeschooling isn't an opportunity for everyone, but it's something that needs to be strongly considered, especially in these times, because right now it almost seems like especially in the UK, they're not trying to shut the schools or anything. It's almost like, okay, so they want to be able to keep your child. And I'm sorry, if my child was old enough to be in school right now, I would not have him in school, because I don't even feel comfortable with what's going on. So right now, even for those who are in the homeschooling industry, who you want to be able to create businesses in this area, please go online and start creating content on homeschooling. Start creating content on even how you can create budget meals in a pandemic, because these are the types of information people are going to need. And this is what this video is about. This is a shift that is forcing you to shift the way that you do or how you think you can do business, because the foundation of social media has been set for the last decade. Specifically in the last decade, that we've seen a very interesting shift in the way that we utilize social media, especially when it comes to our businesses. So right now, this is the perfect time to be going online and start creating content so that you can start engaging with your audiences. All is not lost. Your business is not done. It's just learning how to shift your perspective into what you can do now with these new shifts. Because I'm telling you now, think about it. How is it that they've been able to facilitate so many companies with working from home facilities? Like, you're able to go home and log into an online portal, however your company does it. But a lot more companies are realizing that employees can work from home, right? You're going to see how this is going to start to become something that becomes integrated more, because we're seeing, okay, it can actually be done. Not everyone has to be in the office. And what this whole thing is bringing up as well, especially as Venus is now in Taurus, and I'm going through my Venus return as well, which is why again I'm feeling quite kind of excited, because you know Venus is doing bits for me in my area of partnerships and business partnerships, and especially as the nose moves into Gemini and Saturn moves into Aquarius conjunct my North Node. This is going to be my time, so I'm excited because I've been planning for this for a very long time. And so those that haven't been planning and looking ahead, which is what Aquarius is teaching us to do, teaching us to look ahead, plan ahead. And what have I been saying since last year? I've been planning my business 10 years ahead of time so that I can ensure the endurability of whatever it is that I'm creating. Yes, I'm a startup right now, but I've already got the end goal of where I want to be in 10 years time. So in the next 5 years time, I need to look ahead again and be like, okay, so this is the plan for this time, but what am I going to be doing going ahead? And so this is a time where so many things are going to be presented to us. So many more. Technology is not the devil all the time. As much as they are going to be using things that are going to be quite detrimental, which I've spoken about in terms of the experience of my experience with the connection with 5G and mental health. Yes, those things are very real. But again, what I learned in those experiences, you get to learn your power. If you're ready to give away your power and not recognize that you actually have control of what is going on in your mind and what is going on in your reality, then you're forever going to be a slave, right? This is a time, it's literally survival of the fittest. Like, do you recognize that you're strong? And are you going to believe that? Like, those are the people who are going to be able to survive going forward. So let me just quickly check your messages before I continue. And if you're in here, please remember to put a like on the video as well. That would really help me out. So people in my city thought Jesus was gonna come out out of the lake. People still do. People literally, and I'm telling you, be mindful. Please research something called Project Bluebeam, because you're gonna see these projections start coming out in the sky. Like, they're gonna be talking about, yeah, Jesus is here, and this one is here, and it's prophet and whatever. And it's literally going to be projections in the sky. They've already been using this technology with the moon. Who's been paying attention to the moon? Now, I've been always, as I've shared with you guys, astronomy, the sky, I've always been paying attention to what's been going on up there. But this is this is another problem or a side effect that social media and our phones and technology has presented, where our heads have been down rather than looking up at what's actually been happening. So chemtrails have been sprayed all over us, and we haven't even noticed the difference because our heads have been down for the last decade. We don't even know what's been happening up there. So even with regards to the moon has been flipping for the last how many years? I've been noticing probably about 15 years. I've been noticing the moon been flipping. Like, you'll look at it like now, and in about 30 minutes it will flip upside down and it will look like an egg shape. You tell me, like, the moon has always looked the same way forever. As long as we can actually identify, because we can't really correlate for anything that we've not been here to witness ourselves. But as long as we've been alive, the moon has been going in the same phases, looking exactly the same shape all the time. But now you're seeing like bits bitten off the moon, and you're seeing like egg-shaped moons and upside down, and now remember, the face of the moon will always be facing the earth. That doesn't change. The moon doesn't go on an orbit. So why are you seeing different faces of the moon? Like all of this time we've seen the mark, like this concentrated dark mark here, and then now we're seeing a different face. And the Bible even talks about this as well. And I say that the Bible is actually an occultic book, um, because it's also demonstrating the changes. It even says that the earth will wobble to and fro like a rocking hammock. I can't remember exactly where that scripture was. If it's Ezekiel or it's definitely in the Old Testament, but it talks about that, the earth rocking to and fro. And um I guess some of that would actually equate to like the possession of the equinox, and why a lot of people thought that, or brought in this whole 13 sign astrology thing. But essentially there's been a lot of changes that's been happening, and we haven't been paying attention because our heads have been down. But now we need to recognize, okay, so this is a tool. Technology is a tool. We don't have to use it or see it as a god, or as something that needs to consume our life. It's a tool that can be utilized to get us exactly where we need to be. So let me continue to go through your comments. Can you speak on Pluto and Capricorn? I want to do a specific video on Pluto and Capricorn as well, in particular, because yeah, the system is completely crashing, and that's essentially what Pluto in Capricorn is. And you know what? The children being born, and a lot of our children being born right now, are born Pluto in Capricorn. Imagine the resilience that this children or this generation is going to be brought up in, because, or built with, because they've lived through some crazy times. And they would have survived it. So in the future, if anything else comes up, they'll be like, cha, I've been through this, I've been through that, like this is going to be nothing to me. Like this, the level of resilience, and we have to see that this is what is being developed in us as well. This whole period is developing a level of resilience. Is helping us to really seek through the cracks, and make sure that all foundations, everything is secure, everything is balanced, everything is is it's like, for example, when you're gonna when you're gonna build a house, you have to dig down and make sure everything is level so that that house can be built effectively. This is what Pluto in Capricorn is bringing that sweep, so that when Pluto in Aquarius comes in, we can begin to build things on with more humanistic values, more it's beneficial for all of us rather than just for some of us, if that makes sense. Grow your own food. But being more tech dependent might have some bad effects for the future and the type of society that develops. Of course, and because there's always pros and cons to everything, but essentially the problem is not technology, the problem is not social media, the problem is people. So even when you're talking about taking away likes on Instagram and stuff like that, because social media is creating such a negative experience for people, it's like, no, people need to learn not to be so insecure. You know, you need to learn how to deal with those things, and not actually use things as escapes, and as you know, to escape these things. It's not really going to help. But if you like myself are an online business, and you're utilizing technology and social media and all these things, this is an amazing thing for you. Like, how many people could you connect with, like, just not using social media? Like, me as a business now, I can connect to America, to Canada, to Mexico, to France, to Greece, to Arab Emirates. Like, it's so crazy. Even when I look at, not even only my website, but when I look at my music analytics, because like that's one of the first things that kind of blew for me was my music. And I started seeing, oh my gosh, there's people in the Arab Emirates listening to my music. I don't even know anyone there. I don't even know anyone in like Malaysia or any of these different types of places. But these people are listening to my music, and it's all because of the internet. So whilst there are a lot of fears being presented about this digital age and technology and all that kind of stuff, understand that there is a lot of benefits that can be created from it. And let me even say this first as well, because I will say that it is a lot of industries are going to be affected in this time. Very it's obvious to see, but it's like I was saying, the system is done. So just take a moment to just look at things for what it is at the moment. So we're now in a situation where people cannot this whole social distancing thing is happening. There's this whole fears of, will we be able to go to supermarkets and get food and all this, and all of the everyday things being able to operate. Like all of these things are now in fears because social distancing is a thing, and it's becoming more difficult. Now I'm warning you guys, this is the perfect opportunity for them to bring in things like AI automations, more AI automations. We've already been seeing it with self-service checkouts and all that kind of stuff. It's robots that are going to be taking a lot of the mundane everyday jobs. Okay, we don't need to fear about that. Like I said, move with the shift. Stop relying on the system to give you a job and give you a source of income, and create your own source of income. This is the best time to be alive right now. I don't even know how much or how I can stress this to you guys enough. There's no need to be afraid in this time right now. There's so much that we can do. Online businesses, e-commerce, all that kind of stuff. Like, this is now our future. They can have that. Like, let them have that. Right? We don't need it, okay? Create your own source of income and be passionate about what you're creating. Because a lot of the jobs that we're doing right now, we don't even like doing it. You're going to work every day, going to a job that you don't enjoy going to, and this is crushing you. It's crushing your soul, having to be doing this every single day, separating yourself from your family, separating yourself from doing some of the things that you may want to be doing. It's not a nice life to be living. And so this is where a lot more of us are going to be shifting in this direction, or those that are brave enough, those that are ready to move with this shift and not be taken away by the shift or swept away by the shift. Like, you're gonna ride with this shift, ride with the wave, right? Like, this is an amazing time. So I even put up a post earlier and I was like, whilst all of this stuff is happening with the planes, there's no planes in the sky, there's no cars running around, pollution is getting less, Mother Earth is having an opportunity to heal, like there's so much beauty happening around us, but it's clouded by the smoke screens that the elites are trying to push their own agenda with everything that's happening behind the scenes. And really, let me tell you this as well. A lot is happening behind the scenes. Pay attention. They're talking about, they want to say this is an apocalypse. What does the apocalypse mean? The apocalypse does not mean end times. The apocalypse doesn't mean mass deaths and all that kind of stuff. if you look up the word apocalypse on or on the dictionary, whatever, it will tell you that it means the revealing. This is a time of the revealing of the hidden. This is why this is 2020 vision. Now, if you look closely, and this is why you can't be paying or taking things for face value right now. Trump is actually the trump card in this thing. Trump is the bad guys to the bad guys, okay? If you haven't noticed, there's a whole load of people in Hollywood right now on house arrest. From this whole, there's a whole load of roundups going on with pedophile rings. This is why a lot of the CEOs are stepping down. And I posted on my Facebook, I was like, okay, this is odd. A lot of these people in Hollywood have got ankle boots on. They haven't broken their legs, and there's a whole load of them with ankle boots on, basically hiding their tags, hiding the fact that they're on house arrest. This is the stuff, this is the smoke screens that no one is paying attention to. And whilst everyone is projecting a lot of fear, yes, there's still a lot of stuff that we need to begin to filter through and stuff, but this is literally this is a great time. This is not a time to be fearful. This is an exciting time because, as I said, with Jupiter in Capricorn, all of the big cats are going to start to get knocked off their square. This is when Zeus starts to fall, you know, because you thought you was a big shot, and now reality needs to go and hit you in your head because you thought you could run, but you couldn't hide, right? So now you're seeing all of this, and really, I actually spoke to someone in stocks, and they were saying that the reason why this crash has happened is not actually because of the coronavirus. It's actually because of they cashed out. A lot of these CEOs cashed out before they stepped down. That's why this has happened. But they already have a plan of how this is all going to come back together. If you pay attention to Boris himself yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before? He was like, he's not concerned about the economy. Like, it's gonna recover. Like, it's just like right now we cannot operate because everyone's quarantined, everyone's inside. But the moment this starts to clear up, you're gonna see, like, it's almost like this didn't happen. Like, it's gonna be forgotten as quick as it came across, right? Because it's just a cover-up for new shifts and new things to be implemented, and it's essentially going to benefit us all, right? Like, a Ophiuchus just blew up. Like, well, it didn't just blew up, because if you know science, supernova, any type of supernova or star explosions, it's when we begin to see it, like that's how many light years away. Like, that's time. Ophiuchus blew up a long time ago. Now it's showing up in our reality. Ophiuchus is actually representative of us. This is why I don't actually connect with this whole 13 sign astrology thing, because what it does, it's almost taking away the power from yourself. What is Ophiuchus? The serpent bearer. You are the bearer of your own life force. Right now, they're using fear to benefit off of your life force, because you know your all of this energy that you're giving into these things, like it helps fuel their agendas. So now they can quickly slide in vaccines and stuff, and you're like, oh, how did this get here? Right? No, like, don't give in. Like, keep control of, or recognize your own sovereignty. You are sovereign of yourself. And so I'm going to be doing a lot more content going forward. I've scheduled out lives for April. And it's funny, again, preparation is key, because these are things that I was prepping for months beforehand. And now it's just the perfect time to be able to launch this whole venture. But I will be doing more content and doing more lives and collaborations with other people in business, particularly women in business, also in digital marketing, and those that have experience of being in business and a lot of insight that they can share. And give to those who are also either startups or looking to start up a company. This is who I really want to be able to facilitate on this channel, because I can't, like, we have to be able, the only way that we're going to grow going forward, and I said this before, Saturn is moving into Aquarius. We have to be able to utilize our own networks and do operate off of group economics within our own networks. And in fact, after this live, after I get off, at 8 o'clock, 8 GMT, I think that's, wait, 8 7 6 5 7 6 5 4 3, that's 3 p.m. Eastern time, I believe. I'm going to be holding a conference call, as I've launched a business network, the True Self Project Business Network. Now, essentially what this is going to be a space where we can be providing resources to startup companies, to those who are beginning their journey on starting their own online businesses. There's going to be a lot of mentorships programs in there. So this is literally just a network. This isn't my thing. This is a space I'm creating for us to be able to facilitate information or supply information that will be able to help us on our journey of becoming more self-sufficient. And there are some models that I'm going to be implementing. I don't want to speak about them just yet. I will be speaking about them in the meeting tonight, though, or the beginning aspects of them, of solutions that we can utilize that can help us to grow as a community of businesses. So if you are a business or looking to start a business, if you find the Facebook group True Self Project Business Network, and join that group, you can join in on the call and see what we're going to be doing going forward to just provide a solution going forward. Because my thing is now, I'm on a campaign. My campaign is now go digital. Hashtag go digital. Every business, every small business, whatever, online business, corporate businesses, they already know what's going on. It's us that don't. So now we need to recognize it's time to go digital. Time to start your YouTube platforms. Time to start your podcast platforms. Start creating more content on Instagram, on TikTok, on LinkedIn. These are things. LinkedIn is an area that is very not tapped into. It's not just a place where you upload your CVs. It's a place where you can have access to anyone you want in business. Things that have been made so much more easier for us to be able to do business now, and even just become an entrepreneur. It wouldn't have been this easy 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. We have it so easy. We have so many opportunities at hand. Right now, I'm using my phone to even be streaming and be talking to you right now. I'm not using a fancy camera. I've got my ring light. Yeah, I do. I don't even have a proper laptop. I only have a notebook that I can't edit anything on it. Can only just type up a few documents and whatever. Can't even save too much, but I'm running a whole business. Literally, which means that there's no excuse. You can run a whole business off of your phone. You can start a business without even any upfront fees. Looking into e-commerces, drop shipping. You don't even need to set up any upfront fees if you want to start a clothing line. You literally just do create a design, upload an image, and start to ship. You're not even shipping it. It doesn't even have to be in your home. There's so many opportunities for us to begin to do business and finally become self-sufficient. We don't have to be in this continual cycle of poverty anymore. That's not our story. We now have the opportunity to free ourselves by utilizing our talents, utilizing our gifts, utilizing our abilities. These are the things that we can't allow to go to the waste. The grave is the richest place on earth right now. Do you know why? Because people are allowing their dreams, their gifts, their abilities to go to waste. It's dying with them. There's so many ideas, innovations, projects, books. How many things could have been created by the people that have passed away, but they haven't utilized these gifts. So now this is a time when we need to recognize we have so much value inside of us, right? What the Bible says, what's in your house, right? Meaning, what do you have? What do you have that can be of use, that can be utilized? What gifts do you have? Can you sew? Can you make a dress? Right? You can create your own bespoke boutique, right? Homeschooling, creating content online right now. People are going to need content on how to be able to school their children because they haven't been getting to know their children or knowing what or knowing what's going on in their classes. They're going to need to know. So now you have an opportunity, you have a gap to be able to provide value to people and create an online business through that. There's so many different ways, you know, like what can you share? What information can you share online? That becomes value. You can monetize this information, right? And I'm an example to you guys. I have not been on YouTube a year. If you go on my channel, you will see the oldest video that is uploaded is 9 months ago. I now currently have 1,130 6 or 7 subscribers, which I'm so grateful for, you guys, because genuinely I wouldn't be able to do what I do without you guys. But how did I do that? Right? It's all about strategy, and these are the things that I want to be talking about, and giving more resources to you guys on knowing how to be able to build yourselves, how to build an audience, and how to be able to access your own target customers. Because it's as much it's all good you creating a business if you don't even have any access to the people that will actually buy your products or your services, right? This is it. And I've been saying it's time to get grounded. It's time to really get real. It's time to get into the left brain stuff that a lot of us spiritual people like to avoid. But this is a time where we're going to see that it's really, really going to matter. So if you want to be in on this conversation, again, head over to Facebook on the Facebook group True Self Project Business Network. And yeah, let's create some solutions. So again, I will be doing some more content as there's even more opportunities for me. My partner's home now, so there's more opportunity for me to go live and create content more. So you will be seeing more lives from me going forward. I don't know how long this is gonna last for, but let me just utilize these opportunities as best as I can. And you guys, I encourage you guys to do the same. You know, this is the best time for us right now. So until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.